Welcome teachers to another Passport to Social Studies video. My name is Mr. Giordano and I'm the Virtual Content Specialist for 5th grade Social Studies. Today we will continue with Unit 3, a United States case study, and our Day 20 lesson. The topic of this lesson is civil and human rights organizations. Our focus question is, what civil rights challenges and opportunities do the people of the United States face today? Our learning objective is to research the mission and activities of organizations that promote civil rights, human rights, and environmental justice. Today, your students will be researching various organizations that deal with issues of human rights, civil rights, or environmental rights, such as environmental justice and conservation. Students will identify the mission of their organization, identify the current issues that their organization works on, and learn about the history of their organization. Finally, they will create an infographic of their organization. A group work strategy that you can use during this type of student activity is called IronChef, which we will be reviewing together today. Here is the template that you can consider using for this type of activity. You certainly don't have to, but it's something that you can explore and check out if you'd like. Here it is. I will click it for you and you'll see it will pop up. You can make a copy of this for your own drive. And this is something that you can certainly go through and you can play around with. And I'll go through pieces of it. This is the creator of this tool, so I just wanted to give this individual credit, Stephen J. McGriff from Q Craft Lead Designer. So let me go back. Okay, so what is this Iron Chef? What is this all about? So I'm sure we've heard of the TV show, but in terms of a class work strategy, what is Iron Chef? Well, Iron Chef is a collaborative lesson design. Students work in groups of 4 and will receive a different organization for this activity to research. They will create a 5-slide presentation or as many slides as you, the teacher, would like. You could have each student in charge of 1 slide. Groups will work together to design and create a slide deck. Groups will only have around 30 to 40 minutes. Again, you can base that on your lesson and the pacing to conduct their research for their organization and then create their slides. Students may not add or remove slides. Students may change the theme, the template, the colors, the fonts in their slides, as long as they are easy to read and visually appealing. So this is something that I'm sure you've done with students up to this point, where they've worked together in a Google slide to create something. But now in this case, they're going to add a secret ingredient, which would be a required element in your slide deck. And then when they're all finished, the groups will be prepared to give each other a brief presentation about their slides. So the secret ingredient is something that either you as the teacher can pick or something the students can creatively come up with for their slides to shine. An example of a required teacher-made student ingredient could be something like insert a GIF into your slides that pertain to the topic, so a moving picture. You can really make it whatever you like, but that piece of it makes it that secret ingredient, which really allows it to become fun and engaging and almost a bit of a competition, which the students love. So here are some possible roles that you can explore that you might want to use for your grouping, such as facilitator. This person would be the one to create and share the slides with the group. Lead the discussion as well. Your media coordinator, they help to make sure the groups are using everything that's copyright free. They're kind of leading the groups and making sure that everything is cited correctly, like their images. The checker, the timekeeper, making sure that everyone's responses are complete and keeping track of time. Your reporter, maybe someone who's going back to edit the words in the slides and make sure everything is concise and sharing out the presentation with the rest of the class. Okay, so before we take a look at the task and what this would look like, I just want to return back to those original slides that I had showed you in the beginning so you can get a better sense of what this might look like. So in these slides, again, what is the IronChef Protocol? And you can, again, pause it at this point if you wanted to take a look at this. But what I really like about this activity is that you can assess student learning in real time and see them working on this in real time by going into each slide, getting a sense of what they're doing, and it's really student-centered. And again, I like this idea of it not just being a regular research project, but it having this secret ingredient element And again, you can really, when you lay it out to the students, you can really lay it out as the way a chef would, and say present with flair, 1 minute per student per slide, and it really gives that extra excitement to the activity, something they've probably never done. So the workflow, how would this look? You would have a group, about 4 students. One would be that leader or facilitator. They create the template, they share it with the group, and then each person gets a slide. This might look a little different for the task they're working on right now with the organizations, but instead of it being an infographic, it could be in the form of this type of Iron Chef slide design. Then you as the teacher, you would set a timer. The students would be on the internet, they're researching, they're pulling out their sources for their organization. Now they're going into creating their slides, and here's the secret ingredient that has to be added to those slides to really give it that flavor, as they would say. And then you're going to share with the instructor, and you in real time are looking at it as they're building the slides. Last but not least, they're presenting to the class. So again, key points of this: time is of the essence. You really want to keep them focused and keep it to a certain amount of time to really keep their engagement on the activity, on the research, and on creating the slides. The presentation and the flavor, which is the content, are very important, where you want to remember the secret ingredient. Again, this is something you can grade in real time and get a sense of how each student's contributing to the Iron Chef product. Focus is not necessarily on perfection, but it's on the speed of keeping your product in a timely manner, working collaboratively to get a finished product, and creating your concoction, right? Your final recipe, your final dish, as they would say, as the chef would say, right? So they're focusing on their product, but speed is part of it, right? Being able to stay focused and work with to a clock. And so here are some slides that you could start off with, and you could give your students a link here to the activity. In this case, maybe you would link it to, and let me just go back to our lesson. Maybe you would link it to this, where you're showing them the organizations they'll be able to use, or this slide with all the links that they can choose from. Maybe that will link here. And then they're going to add 3 to 5 bullets, a picture, and then the secret ingredient. And so each student would have a slide like this that they can then edit and make their own. Again, you can change the format. You can align it more closely with what they would have built if they were to make the infographic, in terms of the mission statement, the current issues, the history of the organization. Maybe each one of those would be a slide, and it would look a little different. So you can format that based on your needs. But again, the secret ingredients, that's something that you can pick on your own, or you can even let the students come up with something that would make their slide have that flair, have that pop to it. And again, this is something you can make a copy of, this tool, so you can go back to review it on your own. And again, let's just review the task really quick before we wrap up today's video. Again, the students are choosing one organization. They're looking for the mission of the organization. They're looking for the current issues of that organization. What do they do? What groups of people do they focus on serving? And then third, the history of the organization. When and where did it start? Who started it? Was there a particular event that inspired their creation? And then here are the different ones that they can choose from. So you would have possibly 6 different groups here. The infographic itself would include these different pieces. Again, it might not be the infographic. If you were going to do the Iron Chef, it might be in the form of 3 or 4 different slides, and each student takes a slide. They're focusing in on that, but they're also collaborating at the same time to make their final dish, their final product, add in that secret ingredient. And this is just a sample infographic that the Passport to Social Studies provided, so you could see what it might look like if they were going to do that. Here are some links that students can use to research those organizations, and then a checkoff list to really keep them focused and be able to self-assess their progress and the procedure of completing this activity as a group. And so this is really the task itself. So you can certainly take all this information and consider turning it into this Iron Chef project or activity that would really excite the students and add a new level of engagement to the lesson. So I want to thank you, teachers, for joining me today to learn more about this Iron Chef group work strategy. And here's a link that you can click that will allow you to make a copy of the template that I was showing you earlier. Thank you again, and good luck with your lesson. Have a wonderful day.